Let's bang around a couple things. Number one, your wife's from Ohio. You've gone to some Browns games. Great people, blue-collar fans, awesome fans. They deserve the best. I'm sure they enjoyed, certainly, that whipping they put on the Steelers, 28 points in the first quarter. But in terms of what the Browns fans saw from Baker Mayfield specifically this year, do you think that they think that he can ever be a top 5 quarterback or a true MVP candidate?
I can tell you what the vibes are here, and I've gotten to know a lot of her friends and husbands and her family. I don't know if they think that necessarily, like Baker be top 5 MVP, but I think with the current way they're built, running back wise and defense wise, trending toward, I think that they believe in him being good enough to win a Super Bowl for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all the people of Cleveland really care about when it comes to the Browns. Like, yeah, sure, Baker winning an MVP or being considered a top 5 quarterback would be great. This city wants a Super Bowl, man. They don't care how they get it.
Yeah.
They don't care who gets the credit for it. I think they're all in on their coach. So they feel great. That was a very winnable game against the Chiefs, and I think they would have fared okay against Buffalo.
I don't disagree. You know, the Bills very easily could have lost to the Colts in the first playoff game, the wild card game. Right. Went down to the final. That was a good game. That was the first Saturday game. That was a really good game. So what are they saying about Odell? You know, because the thing, and I said this about Odell pertaining to Eli, we know, at least when he's healthy, he's a freak athlete, so he brings that to the table. But when he's on the field, there's also a propensity to kind of force feed him. Eli did that. Baker did that. And now, without Odell this past season, Baker grew. You think Browns fans want to move on?
I literally have asked that question because as a Giants fan, you know, I want to know now what their feelings are. I think they got such a small kind of taste of it that they don't, and they definitely felt like Baker forcing the ball maybe to Beckham a little bit, and he definitely grew with the injury. But, you know, he also did break a couple of plays here or there. That then when you put that on that roster, where you could take a 5-yard slant and take it 80 yards to the house, that's a different layer. I think this is a big year for Odell for sure, seeing how the team succeeded without him. And then even seeing where the Giants have trended without him. Not saying the Giants were great last year because they definitely were not, but they're in good shape long term. I think he's going to come in maybe a little humbled and ready to fit in where he is with the team, because Chubb and Hunt that's the punch right now offensively. But yeah, you sprinkle in a game breaker like that they could actually be exactly what they need.
All right,
he could fill that role.
So Tiki and I had Joe Judge on about a year ago, and it was before he had done any extensive New York media. Nobody really knew what he was about, and we cracked the nut pretty good. Like, we had a great rapport. We had him on for 20 minutes. It sounds like I'm not trying to brag, but we humanized him in a way that, at least up to that interview, the New York media was not. Remember, he wasn't calling Daniel Jones. He was just saying, right, my quarterback. Okay, we had him on. It was great. I've been a huge Joe Judge fan from day one. We all saw the viral video clip during training camp when he dove on the football and in the mud trying to secure it. And I like the guy a lot. I think the Giants are in really good hands with him as a head coach. We'll get to your quarterback in a minute, but you know, the Parcells and then Coughlin. With the one thing about Giants coaches, you generally know right away if you have a good one or a bad one. Hanley, you knew right away, awful. You knew right away McAdoo, awful. I feel like you know right away that Joe Judge is going to be pretty good. You agree?
I agree, because what I always look for is, even when necessarily the talent isn't there, and look, the Giants talent-wise were not there last year. I don't think that's a big secret or unfair to say. Although, you know, Evan Ingram catch away from maybe shoring up the division a little more.
That's
but anyway,
true.
I think so. When a coach and a staff can get way more out of the team that maybe on paper says they are, that's what I love to see. That's what Coughlin always did really, really well, and the accountability of it. Having a guy who's literally willing to get in the mud, as we saw virally, I think goes a long way. And, yeah, it wasn't a successful season record-wise, didn't make the playoffs, but I think a lot of growth happened. And I'm excited to talk about our quarterback as we get to, because, there was some injuries and stuff like that, as we know, with this Giants team. So all in all, it was a great year, but I do think we got the coach. I think he deserves a full opportunity.
So we're definitely on the same page with Joe. Talking to Jerry Ferrara, one of the great guys in our business. Loves sports, obviously, Entourage, Power, gaming. He's all over the map, and Jerry's with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. So let me ask you this. We know Daniel Jones has talent. He can run. He's got a good arm. We know he can. It's not like he's far from a scrub. I think he's a very talented kid. But between Deshaun Watson, between Russell Wilson, between all these intriguing draft prospects, whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Trey Lance, and some others, right, Mac Jones, right now, do you want Gettleman, who's a stubborn GM, and he drafted Jones, but do you want Jones out there exploring thoroughly what could be a quarterback option for this year coming up, or do you want to ride with Daniel Jones for one more season, no questions asked?
Look, if I'm running the team, if I'm doing, look, if you get a call or you make a call about Deshaun Watson no matter what. I mean, I don't think realistically the Giants have any shot of getting him. But I think, you got to just make the call with guys like that. There's a no-brainer. As far as the draft, I mean, you look at Daniel Jones last year, the injury was a real thing, and it came at a time when the team was starting to get momentum. I think he was at one point leading the league in quarterback rushing at one point before, or at least per attempt. And then that hamstring injury really slowed him down. And then look, I know running backs are definitely not aging well in the league, and you could find running backs anywhere, so they say. But we made a big statement by taking Saquon where we did. And it was rough even in the only game we really saw Saquon. The line wasn't playing well. I would like to see it at full strength. I would like to see Daniel Jones healthy, Saquon healthy, the offensive line intact, which I felt like the offensive line got really, really good at one point last year.
It got better, no question.
It got better.
Yep.
I would like to see it at full strength under Joe Judge for a year with the defense that we have. I just would like to see it before I start going out and draft the quarterback. But with guys like Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson, I mean, you've got to take and make the calls. I think that's a GM's job. No doubt. You always have to be proactive. I would agree for the most part with everything you said there. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.